Hello, this is a presentation for A-Level Biology at Chadwell Heath. My name's Mr. Kavanagh. I'm Head of Biology. The other teachers are Miss Mohammed at AS and Mr. Sanderson, who's Head of Department, teaches A2 Biology. So our exam board in biology is OCR, and we go with Biology A. So this is taken from the website. So the biology course itself allows students to develop practical skills alongside essential knowledge and understanding of a range of biological concepts and scientific methods. There is a lot of maths in this course. You will learn problem solving skills which are fully integrated into the teaching and learning. Okay, so this slide shows us the AS level assessment. So at the end of the first year, you will sit 2 papers. There's 70 marks for each one, and the modules that are assessed are on the left here. I'll talk about the modules in a minute. Okay, so year 12, does it count? Yes, in terms of the grade that you get in those 2 exams will be used for your UCAS grade currently in the current system. No, in terms of it has no bearing, the grade has no bearing on your actual A2 grade. So you might have a bad first year and you don't represent yourself accordingly. It means that you can work very hard the second year and you can improve your grades, and the grades on the AS will not affect your final grade. Okay, so the year 13 exams. So this is quite a lot to take in. I'll spend a little bit of time on this. Originally, you will have module 1, which is all-encompassing practical skills, which will feature in all the modules that you are taught. So you've got 6 modules. I will go into these in more detail in the next few slides, but effectively you have 3 biology papers at the end of the 2 years of learning. The first one is 2 hours 15 minutes, the second one is the same, and the third one is 1 hour and 30 minutes, and they actually have different weighting. So the first one is 37%, second one's 37%. The last one, which is actually quite hard in terms of the style of questions, is 26%. And then the practical endorsement, you don't get examined on it directly, but the skills you learn in the endorsements feature in all 3 of these papers. Onto the practical endorsement itself in more detail. So the practical endorsement, you set about 12 practicals, which are officially written up by yourself, and I have to, and the teacher teaching you has to assess your skills within that practical. You will be given the skills that will be assessed at the beginning of every lesson that you are doing a practical, and the teacher's job is to actually see whether you are proficient at that skill by the end of the lesson. Now, often you start off by failing the skills, but you get ample opportunity to develop them, and then by the end of the course you actually will be proficient because you've done them so many times that it's just the way it happens. So a lot of pupils enjoy that part of mastering the skill. Some examples are serial dilutions, scientific drawings, calculations within the practical, dissection, which are really popular. So we cut open fish heads to look at the gill structure. We dissect a locust, which a lot of people find quite squeamish but also interesting. We do sampling outside, lots of microscopy work. So if that sounds interesting to you, then maybe you want to do biology. The practicals back up the content that we learn in the textbook and in lesson. They will be assessed in your actual exams. They might ask you about the procedure. They might ask you to analyze something that you did in the practical. You may be able to critique the validity of a procedure in the exam compared to maybe how you did it. So it's lots of skills are actually garnered in the practical exam. Onto the practical element of the course. So at the end of the 2 years, under your actual grade, you'll have a grade for the practical, and it's either a pass or a fail. Now, to get the pass, you just have to attend the majority of the practicals over the 2 years, and you have to show a progression in the skills that you have learnt. Most people, to be honest, actually pass this through attendance and willing to improve. It's usually not a problem, but they can be quite challenging along the way. As I said before, teachers assess them. Sometimes you get a pass, sometimes you get a fail. It doesn't really matter because you have 3, 4, 5 times sometimes opportunities to improve a certain skill. For example, preparing a slide for microscopy work. And as I said again, you don't get direct paper on the practicals. They just feature in and amongst the exam papers along the way in AS and in AT. Okay, so now let's talk about how to get onto the course itself, the biology A-level. You'll need a minimum of 6 and 6 in your science GCSE. You'll need a 4 minimum in English and a 4 in maths. Now this comes with a caveat. Pupils with 5 or lower in English tend to struggle with interpretation of questions, with key vocabulary and the answering of higher marked questions. It doesn't mean you can't get onto the course, it's just something that you really need to work hard on. There's lots of math skills throughout it with statistics, interpretation, etc. So if you have 5 or lower, you may struggle and have to work really hard on these skills. Here's some examples based on past data. So students with 6 in science and a 5 in English and maths are most likely to get a D at A level after the 2 years. So that might be something you want to bear in mind. 7 and 7 in science, good science score, but 4 holding them back with maths and English are still likely to get a D because of that element of English and maths featuring throughout the course being quite high level. Other side of the coin, at the very tops, if you've got 7 and 8 to GCSE, 6 or above in English and maths, that's where you have the real chance to get the high grades. Okay, so now let's look at the content that you will cover over the 2 years. So this might be the thing that makes you decide to take biology or not. Okay, on to expectations. So we expect that you should have a keen interest or passion even for biology. You should be prepared to do lots of work out of hours, which means at home. Every lesson you'll get at least an hour's work. You need to be prepared to be assessed with practical skills, which is using your hands, obviously. And by the end of year 13, you should be proficient at those skills. So you have to show development. You have to give it a good go. You have to be attending all lessons as well. If you miss too many of these, you won't get the pass mark. So you have to be prepared to be in school. And you need to write up in a practical book the practical endorsements. Now let's look at why pupils like the course. Number one, they choose it, as I said, because they love the natural world and they want to understand the phenomena of life and look at it in more detail. You want to improve your skills in terms of your research skills, your reading skills, analysis, communication, ability to work in a team, practical skills, and exam technique, to name a few. Some of the most favourable or popular even practicals that we do is the dissection of fish gills and dissection of locusts. Cut them open, look what's inside, learn about them. We go outside and do field work. Even osmosis in a potato is popular. And at the end of the year, we have a trip to Kew Gardens, which is quite successful as well. Complementary A-level subjects. So people that do biology also choose these A-levels, especially if you're going to do medicine, pharmacology, genetics at university. If you want a more broad scope, English and psychology sometimes go hand in hand with biology, believe it or not, sociology. Maybe you want to go and do psychology at university, you do need biology as well. Degrees. So these are just some degrees that our pupils have done. Medicine, veterinarian medicine, dentistry, biology, pharmacology, genetics, and the list goes on. If you have any questions, please email me at this address. Otherwise, thank you for listening. And if you want to choose biology, you can always come and talk to me when we're back at school. Thank you.